do have the solutions, we do have the science, the will is coming every day. And so it's a numbers game. If we can get enough people behind us, and every time we do that on every level, we win. There's a lot of research on beach going, and nothing, zero, on surfing.
Wow.
Like none. And it's still today, I mean, I'm like, oh, I did this thing on the economics of surfing. I always get a laugh because people are like, what? Is that, can you really do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's a $28 billion clothing industry.
Yeah.
Not too surprisingly, surfers are reflective of the communities they live in.
Yeah.
And that's become it's a powerful argument. When the oil and gas industry or a hotel developer who wants to screw up the beach comes in and wants to do some project, they're like jobs.
Right.
Economic infusion.
Right.
And so we now can say, well, there's there's a trade-off.
Yeah.
And why there's an existing thriving tourism, industry here. Why would you threaten that?
What is one thing that Surfrider is working on right now that you are so passionate about and excited about?
We're really this year diving into climate change. The oceans are at the front lines of climate change. 90% of the heat that we're generating is going into the oceans, and 30% of the carbon, which we talked about, is going into the oceans. And sea level rise is going to impact our coastal communities. And we have a tight timeline to turn this around, right? We have 10 years to really shift our sort of greenhouse gas emissions if we want to fend off the worst impacts.
Yeah.
So there's urgency.
Yeah.
I think we have a really important role to play in that sort of fight. So I'm like, all right, let's point our energy and resources towards that. So when the climate marches happened last fall, it was the largest political action movement in the history of the earth. 1 in every 1,000 people on the planet participated. Wow. So that gives me optimism.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of keeps me going. I'm like, all right, well, let's keep fighting and figure out a way.
Yeah.
It's a very entrepreneurial spirit, right? This is ultimately, you guys wake up in the morning, you're like, how are we going to make this business successful?
Right.
We're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
How are we going to make this planet successful?